how are you today? Here we want to present one of the academic speaking materials with the theme Giving a Presentation Group, which consists of 4 people. The first is Danella Aurelia Arsanti as moderator and speaker. Second is Septiano as speaker. Then there is Stevani Tabita as speaker. And lastly, there is Alvis Syuhada as speaker and closing. Let's start with the first material that will be explained by myself, giving a group presentation. Forming a group, there's no ideal size to a presentation group. Two people can work well together and the potential problem of coordinating the work is minimized. If there are more than 4 in the group, the presentation must allow them all to have the experience of speaking, which requires quite a long time, probably at least 20 minutes. Advance of group, in spite of the difficult, they are advanced in speaking as part of a pair or a group rather than as individual. 1. Workload and the stress are shared. 2. You can ask a range of abilities. 3. Variety is built into the occasion, as the audience has different voices to listen to. You can show how good you are at teamwork. The opposite problem is equally descriptive. One member of the group can try to dominate, insisting on his or her point of view and wanting to take the large share of the presentation time. Having said this, you should be happy to take part in a group presentation because it's allowed so much cooperation and mutual support. An instance comes to mind. One of us was teaching a class in which there was a student with serious problem about speaking to an audience way beyond normal levels. At every stage, the other student congratulated her and encouraged her continue. When it came to the group presentation, she actually managed to stand at the front and giving a brief introduction. And at the end, both staff and student went out of their way to let her know how well she done. The problem didn't go away, and she may never become an enthusiastic speaker, but she had coped with it because of the support of her group. She would certainly never have success if she had been asked to make an individual presentation.
Choosing the subject. The team now needs to get together in order to agree their topics and start planning. This isn't always as easy as it sounds, as sometimes people have strong ideas about what they do or don't want to tackle. It's useful to have a series of questions to discuss before making a decision. Limiting the topic. As we suggested, the topic you've agreed on is likely to be much too big for a short presentation, and one of the most important stages in the preparation is choosing the aspect that you're going to work on. Let's look at a group of management students, for example, who've been asked to look at recruitment policy. With special reference to the retail industries, it's important that the group makes clear at the beginning of the presentation what the limits of their presentation are, so that everybody knows they're not looking at recruitment in general, but giving a short case study about a particular level of recruitment in a specific store. Gathering information. If you need to interview someone, give them as much notice as possible and email them to confirm the agreed date, time, and place. Don't necessarily send the whole group. 2 people can share the interviewing, but if there are any half of a dozen, the person being interviewed might feel overwhelmed. And most certainly, the interview will get in each other way. However, the whole group has responsibility of preparing the questions. Group image. Part of your preparation is deciding on the image you want to present. How formal is your presentation? If it's comparatively informal, perhaps a seminar presentation, then as long as you look clean and tidy, nobody is likely to complain. However, in some courses, especially in science, engineering, and so on, you may be required to be a professional as possible.
Organizing the group. You have most of your material, so now you have to organize who says what and in what order. Don't leave this stage late, as each individual will want to work on his or her section and see how it fits into the whole. You will now have to organize your material, ensuring that each member of the group knows which section he or she is responsible for and how their part fits into the whole. Next, the introduction. An audience always wants to be sure who the speaker are, unless you know that every single person in front of you knows your name. Remembering that there might be invite members of staff who haven't talked to you. Make sure that you introduce yourself at the beginning of your talk. You might want to list your names on a slide so that they are clear. If you do this, make sure that the names are in the order in which you speak. Then give your subject and explain the structure of your presentation. Next, team support. Audience are also helped by the obvious interest of the team itself. The group members who aren't speaking at any point must focus their attention on the speaker. This not only helps the audience to concentrate, but also ensure that each of you is listening carefully in case the speaker gets into any sort of difficulty, for instance, missing out something important or making a point that you were supposed to make later. And the low point, as the presentation process, the level of audience concentration is likely to fall, and about two-thirds of the way through, it reaches its low point. A small but useful technique is to ask the audience a question and then answer it yourself.
So the conclusion. Towards the end of the presentation, there's a moment that when a high level of attention can be reached again, provided that the audience knows the speaker is drawing to a close. When you say finally or in conclusion, they suddenly realize that if they don't concentrate now, they will have lost the end of the talk. And so, for a few moments, you have a high level of concentration once more. Another one is rehearsals. This is also your chance to make sure that you have covered the subject sensibly between you, and that the different sections are in a logical order. Ask each other whether you are speaking at the right speed and whether you can be heard. Check that you're all using the same form of notes and your visual aids are consistent. So, next one is humor. Sometimes this low point is seen as an opportunity for humor. This is very dangerous. If you can't time a humorous comment well, it falls flat. So, don't try that jokes, eh? Again, another one is answering questions. It is sometimes the part of the sentence, and oddly, the presenters like best when you can be sure that the audience is really interested because they are setting the agenda. On the other hand, it's sometimes dreaded as the session when you don't know what's going to happen. So, in summary, in the previous chapters, we've discussed the various stages of making a presentation, from gathering and organizing. and organizing the material through preparing notes and visual aids to handling your nerves and your non-verbal communication as you actually speak to your audience. Throughout, it's been assumed that you are the only speaker. When you leave education and start work, you will probably realize very quickly that this isn't necessarily the case in many areas of employment. You are more likely to be part of a team and within your college or university. You're less likely to be involved in a group presentation. The presentation isn't over until the next group has taken your place. Either you or the audience are outside the door. Don't spoil the immersion of your work at the last minute. For instance, by looking closely at someone who didn't speak as well in rehearsal, you have all made an effort, and you will do it even better next time. So smile encouragingly at one another and congratulate yourself on a job well done. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I apologize if there's any mistakes. So yeah, goodbye.
Audio Jungle.